Oh, we're back.
All right, we're back. Very
Let's
quick.
see who gets buff.
Paulo Garcia,
How's it going?
welcome to the show. Paul's one of the lead designers here at NetherRealm, and you are here to talk about some of the balance stuff that's incoming.
Yep.
Now, one thing we do want to mention, the list is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
We're not going over even a fourth of it.
Yeah, it's substantial, I would say, just in raw numbers, but a lot of it is just very fine, like, minutia tweaks that aren't necessarily made to, like, now all of a sudden you win a lot more. It's more of just balancing things out throughout the entire cast. And a lot of the overall goal was just to make it where some of the competitive variations that were used less than others, we've tried to either make adjustments to the one that was used more, the ones used less, to make it where they would be more evened out.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that, and then there's also a couple, maybe 3 or 4 characters who got just some overall changes.
Yeah, we made a lot of tweaks to just the characters that are considered generally the best, and then the characters that are considered generally the worst.
Okay.
And it's data coming from just casual players, Combat League players, competitive players, people that go to our IPS tournaments. Right. A lot of it just raw data that we intake too, just from like data as we see playing the game, and just the data feedback as we see from replays and stuff.
Cool. We get a lot of analytics. We have a lot of numbers here, and that's what it goes. I mean, everything that happens with this game goes into that. So, to start, let's talk real quickly about the first stuff.
Well, before we go over characters, I wanted to go over a couple like overall things that we did. The first is we took a really good look at low pokes. There were a lot of down 1s, down 3s that were very, very, very strong, very low recovery.
Donnie's down poke is really good.
You and the other designers kind of looked through and made a pretty significant amount of changes. The changes themselves are not super significant. They're not now, full combo punishable, but there's a great number of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are just this move has one more frame of recovery, where that doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it just brings it in line to some of the other low pokes, just to keep them all in the general area. There'll always be some that are better than others. That's the general design of things, but we did want to take some of the higher ends and bring them down a little bit, and some of the worst pokes and make them a little better.
Like one of the key ones is Geras is down 1.
Oh, Geras is getting nerfed.
More just frame of recovery, which doesn't seem like a big deal up front, but it does make it where after you block one, you can then poke him back before he does another one, or he can get out of range a little bit and then shoulder you. It just adds a little bit more to the gameplay.
And again, we're not going to go over the whole list of them, but they'll be in the patch notes. Everyone all the nerds into frames, and I'm one of them. I say that with love. me and Aaron would be combing through that if we weren't here. You can look at that very, very soon, and then go into training mode, and then you can also make up ones that we didn't actually change and claim we did. All that fun stuff.
The stealth.
Right. So the second thing is adjusted hitboxes and hurt boxes. There are a substantial amount of moves that were low profiling and we did not want them to as well. There were some mid attacks that you could duck under. One of the examples there would be Johnny Cage's 1-2-1. Character should not be able to crouch under that anymore, the mid hits.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's not really something where it's like a hard and steady rule. It's just we made it where the hurt boxes are a little bit better for the attacker when somebody's trying to low profile, but low profiling is always going to still be a thing in fighting games in general, and it's something we want as a player, is where you can try to see your opponent's doing something and he's jumping in, and you can use one of your low attacks sort of get down. We just want to make sure that they're somewhat in line and they aren't going too low or anything like that.
Excellent. And just one thing, just to reiterate, we picked a couple character matchups that we'll use to show, because some of the changes, there's been a couple new crushing blows added, a couple new moves added. Certain things we're going to be able to show. And then we're going to discuss a few other things, but again, our patch notes will tell you where everything else is. So I say we should get you, is that it?
One more exciting
okay.
thing, and this one's very intriguing. We are introducing health differences for a few key characters.
Yeah, the two cons, they've got higher health than the rest of the cast. Total has higher health than Shao Kahn. And the same thing with some of the higher tier characters. The characters just have more tools than other characters. Some of them have gotten health that's lower than 1,000.
I think it's Cassie, Sonya, and Jackie.
Yeah, that's at least them. There might be one more, but yeah.
And we're not talking 500 less.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to uppercut them and they just die.
Yeah, you
now,
want to take an extra down one.
The characters are...
So it's stuff that where it factors in where a lot of times where you'd be like...
different health levels? I don't know how I feel about that.
Or something like that, where it'll factor into matchups, but it's not something that's meant to completely sway a matchup one way or another.
I have been fighting Ducky Shao Kahn a lot lately.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
I'll do the fatal blow and I'm like, I got it. He's going to die. And then he barely survives and I get emo.
See, that's what I'm worried about. I don't want to get emo.
Yep. let's go to the screen here. So we have Cassie
Dang
and
it! I don't play any of these
Cetrion.
characters.
So the first thing for Cassie is we have introduced a bigger gap and more recovery on her amplified up shadow kick, specifically if you flawless block it.
Yeah, so with a lot of these characters, we want to make sure that we didn't go and change their overall game plan and stuff. Like, she's still, like, probably the most, like, footsie neutral-based character in the game as far as, like, whiff punishing and stuff. But it's more of her up kick she was able to use as sort of like a get-out-of-jail-free card. In almost all situations, you could use it on wake-up, use it get out of the corner, you could use it in pressure tools, and then keep yourself safe. Where now there's a flawless block gap in there where you can bait your opponents to do it or not. And if you know they're going to always try to go for it, you can flawless block it and then spend some remeter to punish her back.
Cool.
So with Cetrion, we actually took a good look at her Force of Nature variation, which is the ground pound one. So the first thing, and I like Cetrion, so this is very exciting. You can actually cancel her ground pound, and it is super fast. You hold
snap.
up. It does use a bar of defensive stamina, but you can see normally she does the second one, and she'll actually cancel out of it.
Okay,
And-
tricky stuff for
sorry.
Cetrion and
it costs some
Simonis.
stamina. It doesn't come back that fast, so it's not something you can just be throwing out. You're not going to be doing like all trying to do crazy Cetrion pressure now. It is more of the thing where you can do your ground pounds and keep them safe when you're willing to do it, but then your opponent can also be knowing that you're willing to do it and work around that.
And this I'm super excited for. She gets a brand new Crushing Blow. It's off her Rock Crush move, and the requirement is hit it from max range.
It's like the very tip of the rock is taken.
Yeah, well,
Never
I'm
break
never
the
landing that.
face.
And this is one of those things we talked about where we're taking some of the versions of the character that are not probably being used as much and giving them a little more to do.
And-
Yeah, just balancing the two out.
Yeah.
Right, and these are mostly the things we're going to be showing right now. So that's what we wanted to show for those two.
Awesome. Couple discussion points between while we're setting up the next characters, which is right there.
Frost, we did a lot of frame changes to. I think, to me, the most notable is her back one is significantly faster.
Okay,
Giving her
Frost got a
very
buff?
Good fast minute.
Any
For those
Frost
of you who
players?
don't know what her back one is. What is
That
her
is the move where she bops you with her head.
Yeah, she clubs you with her own head.
Yeah. So I love that she's going to have a good mid, but I especially love that it's literally hitting you with her head.
Yeah, and it being the one of her faster mid strings also has a drawback to it where you can't cancel that string in the special moves that use the head also. So it's got a little bit of drawback there, but it does give her a string to play around with just to mix up within her other ones.
Right.
And there are several other frame changes that you can see. A really big one is we've taken a look at Gearus's Crushing Blow requirements.
Yeah, these
Uh-oh.
were ones where it was polarizing some matchups where it could be where you couldn't throw your projectile against Garrus, so he could sort of block it, and then he just got a free 30% on you, depending on which round it was in. You could sort of save it. So that one has a Crushing Blow requirement that's more in line with the rest of the cast. So it was to make his where his were just overall easier than other characters. We made his a little bit harder to do.
And then one final thing
Nerfed.
is we looked at a lot of Jackie's frames, and I think the big one to me is her clenched double knee has significantly less hit advantage. When she knocks you down, she no longer can like go to the kitchen, get a snack, come back, and then pressure you.
Yeah,
Shoot.
it's still the most damaging ender you can do. So it has that, and it doesn't switch sides with your opponent. So it still has a use for it. But now if you want to get more hit advantage, you can go for the overhead one. And there's more. It sort of makes it where you don't automatically end every combo in the clinch knees. You sort of open up the other options more.
Becky got
So
nerfed
let's
a little
go
bit.
to another gameplay example.
Another
it.
version of like so.
Where's
Kano
my
did
character
that.
at?
Yes.
It's not played as much.
I
There
think
was a
Kano's going to
Evo
get
win.
buffed and Erron Black is going to get nerfed.
So we made Dirtbag Kano a little more. There's more stuff to do.
So one of the cool things is
Biohazard's
we
probably
took a
super
look
happy right
at
now.
his acid move and increased the hitbox, the range on it. It's an overall better move, like you can
Okay.
see. This now actually connects when before it would not. And it has, so normally when you
Holy.
amplify it,
That's some
tosses that and
range.
sets them on fire. It has a new version where you hold back, and he actually leaves a flaming puddle on the ground. that you can
Oh.
use, kind of like a Caltrops, like or Erron Black's
Yeah.
acid.
And then in doing that just in the middle of the screen, he'll still be a negative, so it's not something you necessarily want to do. But there were a lot of combos where he did, if you were in a juggle with that move, where he would throw the Molotov cocktail past them, especially in the corner, and he would end up being punished with triangle, where now you can do the close version, and that'll hit in a lot more juggles. So it's
Pretty good, right?
It's more of an offensive tool, but you can also use it every once in a while as a mix-up tool to do to catch your opponent off guard.
He also has, like, we buffed the Vegemite buff, the
For the
Kano
ball
Ball
roll.
now
Yep.
does more damage. Just a few other fun stuff like that.
Yeah, and a lot of it just some of it was bug fixes. Like it was really hard to input the up ball and
Dang, Kano
like
just
a
getting
super
overall
charge
buffs
ball.
right now.
Or now that input you can do at any point while he's rolling. And if you actually do go into the up ball, it does a little bit more damage. So a lot of little small tweaks here and there.
Cool.
So let's take a look at Erron Black. The first thing is, and I love this, we have slowed down the startup of his Fatal Blow. It was
No!
like lightning fast, and it's still pretty quick. But
Rip!
I think it's like 8 frames slower. So
Yeah.
it'll be in the
Wow.
So it's enough where you can't just throw it out to whiff punish anything. So you can be a little bit more reckless than you were before, but it still has this.
That was one of my favorite parts about playing Erron. I just
But it's still high,
YOLO'd
you
Fatal,
duck it,
and now I
so
can't do it.
now
It's gonna take too long.
And another interesting change.
Can they show
is
off the
to-
Fatal, how slow
I
it
was going
looks?
to try this.
Okay. You
Remember?
want to do it?
Yeah, so set it to human, and you slide on me.
Okay.
Your guess if I could do it in 4 tries? It's actually pretty easy, but I mess it up a lot.
Okay. Ready?
Okay, hold on. So tell them what we're doing first.
All right. So, the amplification of his overhead boot no longer hits you if you're airborne. So if you jump out, you will not be hit, and that means you can actually punish Erron Black if he goes for it.
Right, but you can jump out, sure. You can also short hop,
Yes.
which makes the full punish easier.
All right. You ready?
But it's, for me, I'm very excited to try this.
3 chances?
Yep.
Well, it's an overhead.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do it again, sorry. Reset. I forgot how I did this other time.
Okay, that's on me.
I would have done it that time, too. What am I doing wrong?
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Okay, that was close. That was close.
Should have practiced it beforehand.
There we
All
go.
right, you got
it. There it is.
And that was
Okay,
good block. That's a
okay.
good punish.
That's a true punish. So you can short hop it and full punish.
Yeah, but it's one of those where if he doesn't go for the extra shot and you do short hop, he'll actually be slight advantage. So it's one of those things where you have to sort of watch him to see if he actually does it, or you can come up with different ways to option select your way out of it. If a character is a dive kick, for example, you can jump up and then react to it, stuff like that. So something where it'll make it more interesting in matchups.
Yep.
Erron got
before
nerfed.
we go to the next match, we have another thing. Katana, we've taken a look at Variation 2, the Adenian dance move. The fans that circle her are now mid, and they are pretty good on block now.
Yeah, and when you did the move before, she slid back a little bit when she did it. Now you can actually hold forward and she'll slide forward a little bit. So you can choose to do the move as sort of like a anticipation on the guy coming in or jumping in, or you can use it as block pressure and get it in where you can, depending on when you let go to when the things are spinning, you can be at a different like a plus or minus advantage. And it's a way to have Katana where she gives up her combos for using a variation, but it makes it more of a like block pressure stagger type thing that doesn't really have another character in the game that's like that.
We also took a look at Kotal's cat variation. That's my favorite.
A panta.
The cat moves are now much safer.
Yeah, and you actually have a couple more frames to amplify them when you're doing them to make it a little bit easier to come out. And then when you do de-amplify cat moves, they'll be safe on block. It's still negative, but they'll be like -7 or something.
Yeah, I think the air one is just totally safe, and the ground one is like pretty safe, I think.
Kotal also is one of those characters who got just a lot of frame changes.
Yeah.
Yes, same with Katana. All these.
So it sounds like
Yeah, he
Kotal
also
got
has
a
the highest
buff.
health in the game now too. So mixing it up with
And
the
Katana
blood
sounds like
sword
she got a
is
buff
the
as
second
well.
Better variation. You can sort of live longer, and you sort of just outlast your.
I mean,
opponents.
everyone's getting some buffs here.
Nice.
Throw some love to Johnny, please.
So, Shao Kahn, I think one of the big ones is forward 2-4,
That's
which
the big hammer
big
that-
overhead. That's now not just safe on block; it's plus.
Wow.
Yeah, and it does have a pretty
buff.
big gap where some characters will be able to just jab out of it. Some characters can use reversals to like parry out of it, but then you can always flawless block it. So it's one of those things where the first move is a high, so you can sort of see it coming, but then he sort of has a pretty fast follow up, and he can special cancel it. So it just gives it a little bit more of a mix up from his big range he has with the hammer.
Yeah. Also.
Also got a lot of other changes
Yes,
as well. Frame changes.
Yes. Also, the taunt moves, the Dark Priest, the point and laugh, those all have better recovery. So
Yeah, they'll recover a little bit better. It's not something you can just throw out mid-screen and expect not to get punished, but there will be better setups you can do now to get them out safely, or get them out kind of safely, depending on when you can trick your opponent.
All right, so let's go to gameplay again. And
This
we
one
have-
I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
For both of these, actually.
Yes.
I've been actually playing the Night Wolf Collector matchup all day, so I've seen a lot of these new changes. The Noob Summit one is really cool because we've had a lot of people talk about a very particular crushing blow.
Yes.
And this
So,
will lead into that.
he has a new amplified move. So his low slide can now be amplified, and a second clone comes out.
Great, great.
I'm
gets buff.
super into little gestures he does. And
Do it again. Real quick. Oh yeah.
so this is obviously good because you're getting more damage.
Well, that's just one shadow though, right?
Yeah, but that's 2 shadows.
Oh.
Which means his tackle crushing blow is to hit 10 shadows in a match, and that's been very, very hard in real gameplay. And he now has double the hits if you use this variation, which is the one I use actually.
Yeah, and it's sort of you give up a little bit of your combos using this
Great.
variation. This variation is more akin to like
Great.
traditional
Noob Sabbath gets a buff.
2011.
Cool, cool.
So it's more of
I'm
like
happy for you
a
guys.
sort of zoning variation,
Awesome.
but not really. Sort of like mid range
Awesome.
and just a punish. But you can also use that
Mm-hmm.
to keep the slide safe from certain distances, and it just gives it a little bit more of different gameplay from the other variation, which is sort of just a combo punish one.
So Kollector has a boatload of little frame changes, but one of the major ones to show is this string now actually has a brand new reaction that pops you up.
Holy!
I'm still not blocking it right.
That's
He
a meterless
also
pop-up.
now can actually use this and do the strings on whiff or block, which previously he could not do. He can cancel into a special move. He can do the full string. He could actually still just do the forward 3. He has all the different options to do from forward 3, which is definitely his longest range move.
Yeah,
I
and it
mean,
gives them something else to do from full screen outside of just throwing a bowler or just trying to slowly move in your opponent. You can sort of like do the big leg, and then they don't know if you're going to throw out the shotguns afterwards or not.
Cool.
pretty cool. And again, you can check out the patch notes for a bunch of other fun stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and his combos always tended to be more grounded, where that new string does give him some more combo opportunities, but also gives the opponent the opportunity to break away where they didn't have before.
Let's take a real quick detour. It's not on the list.
Let's do these two.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I forgot to add that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
I messed up big.
I think we're going to be fine.
There's a lot of people, a lot of Devora fans out there.
Yeah.
Honeybee.
Devora did get some help in this patch.
She has a significant amount of frame changes.
Looks like Honeybee's going to be happy with the Devora buff.
Her arachnophobia variation actually has a brand new crushing blow.
Ooh.
It is off her throw, and the requirement is to, if the opponent has one of the bugs on them. If she does her forward throw.
It helps to be in that.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point.
Who messed up now?
Well, that was my example of what it is like now,
Right.
pre-patch.
I'm not sure if the
So
patch
that
we
was
talked
out
about
yet.
doing it that way. That's right,
That was
yeah.
the contrast. So now it's locked and loaded.
Dang.
And
Wow, that did a
bunch of
lot.
tests.
Pretty
So,
good. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
so
chunk.
it makes the projectiles better in a variation. It makes any combos and that thing better. And you can choose to cash out into calling the bugs back, or you can use your throw. The one thing new now is if the opponent happens to tech her throws, you do lose the bugs on them. So it's sort of like a buff and a nerf, but it's one of those things where it just makes the gameplay and variation slightly completely different from the other one.
A little more
where it's more
dynamic
about
with that,
mix-ups,
yeah.
and this one has some different combos too with the overhead spider move.
Alright.
This next thing is super cool.
So with Jade, her pole vault variation, normally she can just do the pole vault, or she can cancel it. She now has the ability to hit amplify and actually go into a shadow kick at any point.
Now you're not pushing in the shadow kick inputs. You're
Correct.
just amplifying run.
Yes.
Huh.
So that's basically
Can
Yeah,
you
you get the
double
buff.
amplify run to get the backside of
Awesome.
it?
you cannot.
Okay.
Characters that I
And
think
if she's in Fatal Blow
already
Trade,
really
you can
good,
actually go
getting
into
even
Fatal Blow, which
stronger.
is super fun because you get the armor.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where from full screen you can turn on her flashing, you can then run through a thrown projectile and then shadow kick it. Whereas there might have been before where you couldn't have punished some moves from full screen, but now she can. It also helps this variation also just get on top of the guy, which this variation is more of a offensive Jade as opposed to the other one where it's more of like.
I'm going to be very disappointed if we don't get Johnny buffs.
Awesome. I think we have one more
Yep.
character matchup. And again, we're going through some stuff we can actually show. Read the patch notes, get the training mode, and start angry tweeting at me as soon as you can.
All right, so I think this we don't have to talk about. We can just show. Oh my God! Millions of people in Combat League just really.
Dude, Scorpion got
Yeah, I've seen
nerfed
funerals
hard.
Yeah.
Scorpion.
So, teleport's now high.
Teleport is now a.
Rip Scorpion players.
Now,
So you
meter
get
and
a-
teleport is still a high mid.
Yep. It's still a very fast, awesome anti-footsie tool. I think it's still a great, great move. But if your opponent is absolutely spamming it and you're having trouble with the amplified versus not mix-up on block, that's a clear-cut way to not even deal with it. They're bodied.
Cool.
And lastly, we're going to sew something with Raiden's Variation 2, which I think is maybe the coolest of the changes we made.
Really?
So, when he has this on, it acts the way it used to do, but it also buffs 2 of his attacks.
For those who don't play Raiden, this is a buff to him that...
It makes it so that he has access to an extra move that is very, very, very fast.
Yeah, it makes it where when he blocks attacks, he'll charge up his hands even more. And once you have, I believe it's a charge of 2, you can then do a reversal attack. That's one of the fast attacks in the game that you can reversal out of any block that'll hit your opponent. And the amplify for that move actually throws down 4 lightning bolts. It almost covers the entire screen. It can make Raiden safe out of a lot of situations where if you're getting pressured and you have that thing on, you can get your opponent away from you no matter what.
But the new thing is, it buffs his offense and defense by buffing 2 of his standard special moves. So, now, when this is active, this move becomes super safe because of this pushback. You can see it's pretty significant. And secondly, this, you can see this is the normal reaction, becomes a pop-up. And he gets a combo starter.
That's if you amplify it.
Right. So, if he uses the bar meter, he actually gets a low combo starter with hella range. And this thing is very quick to come off. Similar to Scorpion's like chain buff thing, I think this is one you can just really throw out, and they have to make a hard read if they think you're going to do it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where in playing this, you're giving up the teleport from the other competitor variation. So it's something where it has its pros and cons, but it does make it where this one now has a certain appeal to it where the other one doesn't.
All right. I think that's it for talking about the character balance stuff for now. Derek's going to be back on here in a second and discuss a few more things that are coming with the balance patch.
I wanted Johnny.
Paulo.
So with like in practice mode, when you have the real-time frame data boxes, the actual visual look for that has changed a little bit. It's a little bit more transparent and it's a little bit smaller in profile. So you can actually use it now without it being obtrusive or like being in the way of certain things. There've been a lot of like just changes to gear drops in general, like some of the ones where it just told you this thing is in the crypt will actually have more detailed information of like what type of chest it is or if it's in like a certain location and stuff like that. That'll be something we'll be expanding even more in future patches where we'll be going into more detail of where you actually get items, so you can go over PC.
No, I know Johnny probably got some changes, but I wanted them to show it off on stream, but they didn't.
The launcher is now available to people. It's a reward for racing against time. That's something a lot of people have been looking for.
Derek was going to say that.
It's very fun.
Oh.
What did they just say?
Cool.
Wait, what did they say about Johnny?
A lot of it
Voice?
is just a little bit of just small changes here and there, and it's all just to make where you can pretty much play whatever competitive variation you want, whatever character you want, and have a chance. But it's not like the characters you're playing for. You still need to put the time in. And stuff
Something
like
about
that.
race against time, and something about Johnny Cage's voice.
Awesome.
Did
Thank
they
you
finally
so
add
much
it?
for coming on to talk about the balance again.
Oh
We'll be
no, you
online.
did not. We
Look
need
for
that
it and start getting the
ASAP,
practice
ASAP,
going
no
to
rock.
do now. We're going to go back real quick to that balance patch screen. We'll bring Derek back in. Thank you so much, Paulo, for joining us.
I think they said they added the Johnny Cage voice. I might be wrong. Oh Lord. Oh man, I need this patch update now. So the patch notes. Johnny had 2 changes. Johnny only had 2 changes, and one is throwing shades crushing blow now does 90 damage from 170. So it got nerfed. Causes a true stun. Okay. And then Johnny Cage, almost famous front kick, back kick has 4 more frames of hit advantage. That's it? Didn't give Johnny an overhead. Didn't give him a new crushing blow. Didn't adjust his old crushing blows to make it easier. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why you do my character dirty?